Welcome to the skill challenge, how to read the dice. Your skill challenge dice come with a weapon die, your project die, your hand die, your position die, your direction die, and your malfunction die. You can roll one at a time, all together, or a couple of them. The more dice that you roll, the more complicated the situation becomes. Your malfunction die, you roll it when your direction die show the skull and crossbone. If you want to practice on multiple weapon platforms, your handgun, your long gun, your shotgun, then you roll your weapon die. If you just want to practice with one platform, say you just want to use your handgun, then you don't roll the weapon die. Your project die, if you're not looking to compete against somebody else, all you're wanting to do is just quick situations and combat effective shots on target, then you don't need to roll this one. But if you want to make the game or practice session a little more interesting, you can incorporate the project die. So let's just roll your three basic dice. Your position die, your hand die, and your direction die. So this, we are standing, using our reaction hand only, and the target is to the rear. The reaction hand, support hand, weak hand, non-dominant hand, whatever it is you want to call it, I like to call it my reaction hand or response hand. So we're in the standing position, the target is to the rear, and we're using our reaction hand. And we've already said we're just going to do all this with our handgun. So it would be in the holster. We would stand with our back towards the target. Whether we're dry firing or live firing, at the sound of a shot timer, we look to address that the target is a threat. We turn and we shoot, and we see how much time that took us to get a combat effective shot on target. If we're just dry firing, then we would set the shot timer for a random start time and then a par time. And if we get the shot on target within that par time, we get the point, and we can slowly decrease that par time to see what our restrictions are. So we'll roll the basic ones again. So this, we're laying on our side, target is to the front, again using the reaction hand. So with your non-dominant hand, you have to draw the firearm and get combat effective shots on target while laying on your side and the target is in front of you. We're standing, using our weapon hand this time, and we're conducting a reload. So what we do with the reload is we have the slide locked to the rear, empty magazine inserted, magazine with dummy rounds if we're dry firing, live rounds if we're live firing on a gun range, in a mag pouch or our pocket. So let's say we're dry firing right now with the handgun. So we have the handgun in our hands, slide lock to the rear, empty magazine inserted, magazine with dummy rounds in a mag pouch or our pocket. Present the firearm towards the target, and then at our shot timer beep, set with the par time, our own personal go, however you want to do it, begins sighted in on target, slide lock to the rear on an empty magazine. Now you start the time, dropping the mag, inserting mag, slide forward, and combat effective shot on target. So that's how the reloads are done. Using both hands this time. Again, we're laying on our side, and the target is to the left. So you stand, turn so that way the target is to your left, and then lay down on your left side or your right side. You choose which side you want to lay on. The cards get a little more specific on what side. The dice, a little less specific. One more time, and we'll incorporate another die. Target is to the right using our weapon hand, and we are seated. So we're in a seated position. Target is to our right, and we're using our weapon hand only. We're standing, using our reaction hand only. We got the skull and crossbone, so we roll the malfunction dice. We're clearing a double feed. And we said that we were going to throw in another dice to make things a little more interesting. So now we're going to pull out all of our weapon platforms. And we're going to roll it. We're using the rifle. So we're using the rifle with our reaction hand only. While standing, we have to clear a double feed. Again, we're using the rifle, using our reaction hand only. Target is to the left. We're moving to the left. We are moving to the left. Whenever you have the little figure with the scary zombie hands chasing them, that's the moving side. So now you're moving. Your direction die is the direction that you are moving in. So you're moving to the left. And the target is in front of you. That was a weak roll. Using our handgun, target is to the left. Using our weapon hand, we're laying on our back. So we're laying on our back, using our weapon hand only. Target is to the left, using our handgun and from a holster. So we stand, we turn so the target is to our left, and then we lay down on our back. And that's how you set up into that position. Now we'll incorporate the project die. Target is to the front, using our reaction hand only. We're laying on the back, using our handgun from the holster, and we're conducting a task drill. Task drill, you come up with some sort of a task. If you have your practice partners with you, they come up with some sort of a task for you to do. Tie your shoes, put a little folding table together, or take the little folding table apart, disassemble a magazine and reassemble it, load a magazine, do math problems, write your name backwards, write the alphabet backwards, anything that is going to get your mind off of the range environment. Something that you have to focus on, and then all of a sudden there's a threat, and engage it. In the real world, we're not always ready to shoot. We're doing everyday tasks. So with your task drill, incorporate everyday tasks, something that works the mind away from that range environment. It gets pretty interesting. We have a couple of games that we play. We have this seek and find game where you have to find all these different things that are on a card, and then somewhere in there your practice partner calls threat, and you have to pull your mind from that task onto the target. And you're doing all that while in this position. Your handgun is holstered, you're laying on your back, target's in front of you, and you can only do the task and draw your firearm with your reaction hand. Again, we're using the handgun. We have a shoot, don't shoot. Target is to our left. We're laying on our side. We're using our reaction hand only. So, holstered firearm. Target is to the left. We're laying on our side. And with our reaction hand only, we get a shoot or don't shoot. So our practice partners would, without us knowing what target they've put up, they will put up a shoot or a don't shoot target as we get into this situation here. And then once they're safely behind the firing line, your time begins, however you decide your time begins. And when you look to address whether it's a threat or not, then if it's a shoot target, then with your reaction hand, you draw your firearm, get combat effective shots. If it's a don't shoot, you don't do anything. You lose a point if on a don't shoot target, you went for the gun. Again, tries to get us out of that I'm always going to shoot environment while we're at the range. Let's exercise our mind. Dry fire or live fire. Okay, shotgun. We're conducting a reload while standing. We have a scenario, weapon hand. So the scenario, if you're practicing by yourself, you would just brainstorm what sort of a scenario in the real world would I be set up into this position for. If you've got practice partners with you, they would come up with a scenario of why you would be in this situation. With your position die, you have a picture of this really awesome dude kneeling. That's your kneeling side. So whenever that face shows, you get into a kneeling position. And again, the man with the zombie arms chasing him, that's moving. And when you get this face, your direction die becomes the direction of movement. For example, here you're seated, the target is to the front. This here, you're moving to the front. This here, you're moving to the left. This here, you're seated, target is to the left. When you get a duel, it was just a fun way to name it. And you're never shooting towards each other. Dry fire, live fire. I could have put competition, challenge. I chose duel. I hope it doesn't get me in trouble. I don't. You're an idiot if you are. You're not shooting towards each other. You both have a separate target downrange. You both are next to each other, safely behind the firing line. And in this case, you're both using a shotgun. Target is to the right. You're both using your reaction hand. And you're both kneeling. So at the sound of a shot timer or another practice partner's command the fire, then whoever from this situation gets their first shot on target wins the point. All right. Now, a mixed duel, the person whose turn it was gets set up into this position. Another practice partner chooses to either roll these dice again, or if they're awesome, they have their own set of dice. So whose turn it is set up into this situation. The practice partner rolls their dice. They're also using a shotgun. They're in a standing position. Their target is to their left. And they're also using their reaction hand. So once they get set up into that position, shot timer on a random beep or another practice partner gives the command to fire, and the first person from these two different situations to get combat effective shot on target wins. I could have called it again. I could have called it gunfight. Okay, corral. I could have called it anything. I just chose duel. Scoring. How you want to score it. You can have it to within a certain amount of time from whatever situation the dice have put you in to shot on target. If you get it in a specific time, then you get a point. You can score it by whatever situation that is. No time at all, but from that situation, you're using the scoring rings on whatever target you're using. You can keep score that way. You decide how you want to keep score and change it up sometimes. You can have it to where you're not using the project die, and you and your practice partner are always set up into that one situation, and you're both are competing for the score of however you choose to score it. You can have it to where, say there's 3 of you practicing together, then one person rolls it, they perform that situation, they get their score, and then the next shooter rolls their die, and then they get into the situation and get their score, while the other practice partners are critiquing them on how they did it right and how they did it wrong and what we could do better, and this is how you get the gun out. Try next time that you get reaction hand or set up in that same situation, try getting the gun out with your reaction hand this way, right? Or in this case, we're using the shotgun. Maybe there's another practice partner has an idea of, if you're using a pump action, then maybe they have another idea for how you can rack that round. Maybe you do something that your other practice partners never seen before, and they want to try it. They want to learn how you just did that. You set it up how you want. If you're practicing alone, then you just roll the dice, perform the task, come back, roll them again. You decide how you want to do them. There's almost endless possibilities of how you can change up your practice. If you have one thing that you're specifically wanting to practice, if you already have your own practice routine set up, what you do at the range or what you do in your dry fire, then pull out the dice, roll them, so that way you get set up into that situation cold. Perform it, and then go into your regular practice routine. I find it interesting. I hope it helps. Thanks for watching. I can't think of anything else. All right. Cool, man.